All right, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started, dive in to our fourth annual Show Your Cards contest. We're very excited. We've got a lot of great contestants and a lot of great creative examples that we've got for channel cards and key cards for this year's contest. So we're going to dive right in. Just off the top, if you are new to Avail, I'm going to go over kind of a quick review of what channel cards and key cards are, right? Talk a little bit about why we do this contest every year. And it's really about celebrating and recognizing some of the work that's being done through our platform and content management in general. Creating this kind of platform where we can recognize certain customers who've kind of gone above and beyond to create an environment that you know gives their end users a really nice experience with some kind of creative flair to it as well. So, looking at the agenda again, we're going to talk about the contest. We're going to give kind of a quick refresher on some of the things that we'll be talking about. Talking about the categories, so every year we judge these channel cards and key cards based on three categories. I'll introduce our panel of judges, which is great. Each judge will have their chance to announce a winner for each category. And then we'll be talking about, we'll have a kind of an end recap of some of the honorable mentions as well. So there's some that, didn't make the cut to actually win for a specific category. But again, we wanted to recognize some additional customers who had some really great ideas using some really cool AI technology tools at their disposal to create some really cool visual interfaces for their end user. Um, so looking at, refreshing on, what channel cards and key cards are. So we've got a couple of different resources that we like to point people to each year to, again, kind of give you a jumping off point to get started. So again, if you're new to Avail and you're first kind of interfacing with the platform, a lot of times you're going to start with a blank slate. And then at that point, it's kind of yours to create and how you want to index your content or bring content into Avail, how you want to categorize that content, and then kind of what kind of visual layer of navigation you want to add. And that's where the channel cards and key cards come into play. As you're building building your library through Avail, collecting content, grouping your content. You can place these cards in front of that content to create this visual interface. Again, it's really all about that end user, how they're consuming the content, how they're going about browsing the library, making it creative, making it visual, because we're visual creatures. We're looking for things to make it easier to find what we're looking for. And the channel cards and key cards are your tools to do that. We've got a couple of pages through our website. So if you want to look back, we've got documentation and highlights of past competitions. So you can kind of we'll be reviewing obviously this year's winners today. But if you wanted to go back and look at past winners, we've got just a great assortment of, again, different, kind of unique, creative ideas that people have kind of implemented through Avail. It's always really exciting to see kind of what tools people are using year to year. You're going to see some this year. There's been a theme of AI, using AI to create some of these visual components and these cards, which is really cool. But if you wanted to go back and reference some of our past winners, check out our webpage, getavail.com/showyourcards. All right, so diving into exactly what are channel cards and key cards. So channel cards, when you first get into Avail, you're going to see a couple of channels. If you're brand new, you're going to see one of our learning channels. You also see kind of our publisher resources, but our channel cards is your way to first kind of group your content. You'll be creating channels, and you can add a card, as you can see here in this example, to kind of visually identify what is in that group of content. Again, you can kind of do that your own way. A lot of times you can create that through PowerPoint. Again, we'll be talking through some examples where you can do that through AI. And then we also have a visual interface. Actually, we have some tools around key cards where you can actually kind of modify and kind of create your own design on the card as well. So channel cards are your first layer of visual navigation in Avail. That's kind of what you put on your homepage, what users are going to see when they first log into Avail. And then your key cards are kind of nested and underneath these channel cards. So once you've created your channel, you can actually go in and you can add an additional layer of visual navigation around some of the tags that you might have on this content. So this is a good example. Probably one of our more popular examples is, you get into a Revit library channel, right, with your channel card. And then if you wanted to go take it a next step further, and add additional cards representing the Revit category of that content, you could do that through Avail. So this is a good example of, you can see these tags at the very bottom. These are just filters that are built into the interface of Avail. So users can actually click on these and filter down to the content they're looking for. But then you can also kind of elevate these filters and these tags as key cards. And again, it's another layer of visual navigation that you can have in the platform. So looking at the specific categories of the contest, we're going to be talking about and announcing the winners of these three categories. So we're looking at Best Brand Identity, which is really kind of the most reflective of the submitting firm. So I think we'll be talking about this year, what does it look like? It's not just creative, it's not just easy to navigate, but does it actually reflect the firm who's actually created these and authored these kind of cards? We'll be talking about the winner for Best Visual Navigation, which is really down to at the first glance, right? How easy is it for someone to recognize what's behind that card? What type of content is behind that card as they're browsing through Avail? What's the kind of easiest way that they can kind of visually navigate the platform? And then we'll be kind of tying things up and talking about the winner for Most Creative. And that's just kind of the coolest, most exciting, kind of most inspirational designs. And talking about, again, some of the tools that they've used to kind of create these things, create these cards for their Avail interface. To introduce our panel, so off the top, my name, if you haven't seen me before on a previous webinar, my name is Clay Watson. I'm the Director of Customer Success at Avail. I'm here just as a moderator for the competition. Our panelists are the ones that actually did the deliberation and kind of talked through choosing our winners. And so to kind of introduce them a little bit, we've got Steve Bennett from Taylor Design. He's the Director of Design Technology at the firm. He's also, as announced last fall, our Champion of the Year, which is great. So he's a great partner, customer, really kind of engaged with a lot of our discussions and really kind of helpful whenever we need something that we have a question about, whether it's a Revit workflow or something in Avail. He's great to be a part of our discussions and our planning as well. So we're happy to have him as a judge. We also have Corey Rubidoux from ArcVision, CEO of ArcVision. ArcVision is a sister company. Again, a long time. We work very closely with Corey and his team on the RPC side of things. They've got some built-in specific channels and things that they've got within Avail, which is great. We also have Paula Rama from Slantis, which is also a customer and a longtime partner and also a former winner. One thing I forgot to mention is Taylor Design is also a past winner of the Show Your Cards contest, as well as Slantis. So we're happy to have Paula join our panelist team. And then last but not least, we've got Rob Snyder, our customer success manager at Avail. So we brought Rob in kind of as his first run for the Show Your Cards contest. And he's got a lot of great experience in BIM and working in architecture. So we've got a great group of panelists that we're able to choose some really exciting winners. All right, so to turn things over, I'm going to hand things off to Steve Bennett from Taylor Design, and he's going to talk about who they have chosen as the winner of Best Brand Identity for this year's Show Your Cards contest. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you, Clay. So this year's Best Brand Identity Award really highlights firms that used Avail's channel cards, not only to organize content, but to visually express a strong and consistent identity that reflects their values and how they work. So the winner that the panelists have selected for this year's Show Your Cards contest in the category Best Brand Identity is Larson Design Group. Larson Design Group is an employee-owned architecture and engineering firm. They offer integrated end-to-end solutions through a multidisciplinary approach that spans planning, architecture, interior design, and engineering. What the panelists really appreciated about Larson Design Group's submission was how their cards clearly reflect this breadth of expertise and design ethos. Their brand identity isn't just a logo or a color palette, but it communicates purpose, clarity, and confidence, which mirrors how they approach real world projects where thoughtful design meets practical solutions. And when you look at their cards, you can immediately see the connection between the cards and the brand identity and their elements on their website, such as their colors and their logo and the different things that they put together in their palette. Additionally, the cards really reflect a consistency in structure and wording, and it reinforces how their users navigate information with ease. Lastly, their cards echo their firm's holistic design approach, like how they integrate architecture and interior design. For example, their architectural and interior design work focuses on purposeful, human centered spaces, which unite form, function, and sustainability. And you can see that same intentional clarity and visual coherence really shows up in how they crafted their cards. So, congratulations to Larson Design Group for winning Best Brand Identity. It's a recognition that really celebrates the thoughtful way your brand and your work come together. Well done. Back to you, Clay.
Thank you, Steve. And we actually have two members of the Larson Design team, Brett Milano from Larson here, to speak a little bit about the strategy and really kind of the impact on the team overall. Larson started with AVAIL just about a year ago, maybe a little under a year ago, and I'll take it. Brett, you can kind of take it from here and talk about kind of your experience creating the cards and kind of the thought process you guys kind of put into getting this set up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Thanks. And yeah, we have one more person on, Kelly Reed's on as well. So she's the one that I worked with the most and another person on her team. We wanted to look kind of what Steve said, look to what's conveys our brand, not only with our logo, but with our brand colors. We also wanted to make it very simplistic, very easy on the eyes so people can know where they're going. So we worked diligently trying to come up with certain, we went through a lot of schemes, a lot of different iterations. One of them was just to have them all, Larson Design Group orange, that we had
Mhm.
throughout there, but it was just a little bit too much. Did a lot of a lot of other iterations of, putting Revit logos everywhere or CAD logos everywhere. And then we come up with this great design of having our LDG logo there and then having just little snips of the Revit logo similar to it and kind of directed towards what's underneath there. And then you can see with the civil detail library having a C there. So it's easy for people to look like, well, there's the civil library, right?
Mhm.
And then with the different colors, a lot of people are visual with colors. I want to go into the green channel where all our materials libraries are, or the black channel, or the blue channel, or the light blue channel, right? Rather than having them
Mhm.
all the same color, we broke them up into different, our different brand colors that we have. And yeah, it seems to be working really well. Staff like it, and it's benefiting staff quite a bit right now. So
Fantastic. Thank you, Brett.
yes, thank you.
All right. We're going to shift gears a little bit. Our next category to announce will be Best Visual Navigation. And I'll give Corey the floor to announce the winner and talk about kind of the judge's reasoning behind why we chose this year's winner.
Hello, everyone. Well, it's our pleasure to review all these entries. I'll say that. And this category, Best Visual Navigation, our intentions here were to find visual deliveries that really guided people through key cards, channel cards to assist team members and staff members to just get to content very quickly. We looked at several of these entries very, very closely. We had a little bit of challenge trying to pick the right one here, but the winner of this category, Best Visual Navigation for this year, 2025, is Hames Charlie, based out of Australia with several offices there, a multidisciplinary practice covering architecture, landscape architecture, and so on. Um, they had a strategy with their cards, which I think we all resonated with pretty quickly. They wanted to convey a lot of information at a glance, including governance and content types, and a visual cue that was very instinctive for browsing. So generally, our all of our feedback kind of fits into that. We love the iconography and the symbology, large text that really catches your eye on these cards, and everything seemed to be very clear and engaging, concise. We noted that it reminded us of airport signage and getting people to the right place ahead of time, not on time. But I think experience traveling around Europe I felt like this was very clean in that regard, and referenced that those very complex environments and trying to get us to those uh, our airplane gates as quickly as possible. Graphically, the colors are very effective, especially the contrast with the background, sorry, which is not completely black, but gives a nice, elegant kind of feel to those cards. We also noted that basically it seemed like we had everything that the user would have everything that they needed to just visually navigate. Everything was just easy, seemed to be very easy to find. Simple, straightforward, and the color coding on the titles at the top of each card was also a nice touch on these cards. So the Ham Charlie team used PowerPoint to use these, which I thought was also pretty interesting to put all these together, and making PowerPoint work for a graphic tool like this is, from my perspective, probably a challenging battle, but engaging and beautiful work here that the Ham Charlie team put together. So great job. Congratulations to that team. And we really hope that their team finds this as effective as we've seemed to score it as. So congratulations.
Well, thank you, Corey. Yeah, and unfortunately, like Corey had mentioned, Hames Charlie is based out of Australia, so this time slot did not necessarily line up with their waking hours. So, but yeah, congratulations to them. I think, yeah, a lot of what Corey said, it's kind of minimalist, easy to see, easy to navigate. They really kind of stood out and are the winner for this year. All right, so moving on to our final category for the Show Your Cards contest, the most creative. I'm going to turn this over to Paola Rama from Slantis.
Thank you, Clay, and hi, everyone. So it's my turn to announce the most creative one. So the idea of this and what we looked for was that the channel cards could communicate newness and inspire excitement in the team like it did on us. So yeah, the most creative category for this year is for Richard L. Bowen and Associates. So congratulations. Um, What's also very interesting about this category is this wasn't originally the submitted for most creative category. So this was a team vote, and we all came back to this design and thought we should look at this again. So it ended up being a team nomination, which I think it makes it very special and really standing out. The things that impressed us about this nomination was first of all simplicity. So each card shows a single object. So we thought this was a very strong design decision. There's no visual noise or competition between objects. It's just one clear focal point, and it's very easy to understand what it means. So we thought this was really great to communicate the information that it's needed. Second, the use of the space of the card. So it feels open, clean, and it takes you where you need to go. So it's very easy to read and it's very understandable. Another key point was the use of AI that the team got to this, but it was a really creative use of the tool. So it was not just like a shortcut for production, but it was used like meaningfully, and it feels really designed. So we really like that too. Um, then we have the icons that, as I mentioned before, are really easy to understand. We had a very good time interpreting each one of the icons, so that was very great. Um, yeah, and last of all, you can find everything easily, and this is a very key point in everything when we are talking about keycards and content. So we thought that it followed that check too. So again, congratulations, and thank you for setting such a strong example on how creativity and also easy finding content could be achieved. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Paula. So yeah, we have a representative from Bowen here, Jason Stavanovich, and I'll turn that over to you, Jason. Talk about some of the tools. I know you had used a little bit of some AI, help with some of the kind of designing some of these things, but talk about that process. I think that's really interesting. You're not the only one that submitted, examples of using AI in creating these cards, but love to get your take on kind of that strategy and, yeah, the impact on the team.
Okay. Well, thank you again. Um, strategy wise, we've had Avail now for about 3 years, and we originally kind of loaded up our library. We had it loaded up by a specification section, which wasn't
Mm.
super intuitive for people to like find and pull things from. Um, but we kind of like loaded our library up there, and for the most part left it alone. You get a pretty lot out of Avail right out of the box. But I wanted to create an interface that was a little bit more user friendly. So my strategy really was to focus on the card names, whether that and have those pretty much be by Revit category. Um, and I really wanted that to be the main focus, with minimal noise and distraction from everywhere else. Um, I took a tremendous amount of will for me to stay consistent in a lot of things that I often want to stuff like throwing different Photoshop effects on stuff
Mm.
just because I can. So I had to really like tone myself down and be like, all right, consistency here beats showing off or whatever. Um, so as far as the graphics go, yeah, interestingly enough, I think my girlfriend was playing the Fallout video game,
Yeah.
which
Good.
has like that mid-century
Mhm.
sort of World of Tomorrow vibe to it. So yeah, the idea was like creating almost like Vault Tech cards.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um, and actually originally I actually created three characters for this that I had planned to create this whole storyboard thing and da da da. It was Captain Content, Major Model, and the Archimatic 2000, which was the AI architect robot trying to steal everyone's jobs. So that turned out to be a little bit ambitious. I hope to maybe incorporate those guys into the channel card sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like I said, really trying to have the name of the card, the category, be the main focus, and the pictographics, just kind of having fun with. How I made those is basically it was a combination of several different things: Illustrator, Photoshop, of course. But the pictographics themselves was a combination of using Chat GPT
Mm.
to develop the prompting, and then Copilot create the graphics, and I just got on a roll with it. So
No, that's great. Yeah, thank you, Jason. I can definitely see now that you mentioned the Fallout reference. Yeah, I can definitely see how that kind of lines up with some of the look and feel of the show and the game. Excellent. All right, great. So yeah, again, those are our winners for this year's Show Your Cards contest. Now that's not to say that all the other submissions are tossed aside. We do want to mention have some honorable mentions, some ones that were really kind of on the cusp, very close to being a winner. But just didn't make the cut. And I've got Rob Snyder here. I'm going to turn it over to him to talk about four different honorable mention submissions that we'd like to acknowledge. Rob, I'll turn it over to you. Oh, you're on mute, Rob.
Ha, I was muted. Thanks, Clay. Hi, everyone. It's my honor to mention the honorable mentions. And congratulations to the winners. And congratulations to us, I keep thinking, for AVAIL for putting this meeting together, because it's so cool. You know, it's a hard thing to visually navigate complexity. Everyone in this business knows that, and it's kind of very much appreciated the effort people put into making this work for their firms. So it's really fun to see and participate in this. This one is SMRT, and maybe Clay, if I don't talk so much about them individually, if you maybe scroll to the right and then scroll back to the left at some speed. And then the next one is Cordigan Clark. I mean, it's just visually intriguing immediately, and this one is too. White and Co. I love the dark theme, and this one, the closer you get, the more compelling these images are. So, just very engaging. It just makes me want to go in and get in there and see what's in each one, behind each of these cards. Great job. And then there was also LDG again. So LDG just can't stop winning. Very impressive, all of it. And like Corey mentioned, with wayfinding through an airport, it's the most frustrating. You know, you can think of wayfinding in all kinds of contexts, and that one comes to mind right away. And especially when it's not done well enough, that's when you really notice it. Like, why is this not easier to find my way, you know, to my gate? And it's the same basic problem here in a library of resources.
Mhm.
So these things, they matter a lot, and you can tell they do because of the effort that everyone puts into this. And I think it's also fun that by having this contest, everyone who participates or anyone who did not submit but is thinking about this would see these, and we can all learn from each other. So just outstanding. Really fun. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. So again, the honorable mentions that we'd like to acknowledge are SMRT for their channel cards. Cordigan Clark, this is another example of using some AI tools. ChatGPT, Copilot, I think were used to generate some of these images. We've got White and Company also using some AI techniques. And then Larson Design for their key cards. Excellent. All right, so that wraps up this year's kind of announcement webinar for the Show Your Cards contest. I do want to reference again, we'll be posting the winners page. We'll have a new web page on our website to showcase these winners as well as the honorable mentions. So you can go there and reference some of the strategies that they had put in and submitted along with their designs. And then as well as a guide, right? So, you know, when you're thinking about creating key cards and channel cards, this will be a great place, a great resource to find some inspiration. We also have directly in the desktop application, we have an AVAIL Publishers channel that will give you some of our templates. So we've actually created a whole collection of key cards and channel card templates that you can go to the channel in AVAIL and download those assets and then just re-upload them to your channel cards and your key cards as you see fit. So definitely check that out. More information will be on our webpage around getting to those templates as well. But just we've kind of provided some of those things to help you jumpstart, right? We kind of heard from a couple of different not contestants, but customers that, the first run at creating these is maybe not the final form of the channel cards. It takes some iteration. So we've provided these templates to kind of get things off the ground, create that visual interface, and then you can kind of have your time to kind of tweak it and modify it, put your brand behind it, kind of get creative with it. Because it is something that can be iterative. It can improve over time. It doesn't have to be one and done. You can kind of think about this and pull people together and like, okay, what's going to make this experience better? Because it's not just, it could be as simple as just searching content, but giving this visual interface, I think, takes the experience to a different level, a higher level, and gives your end users just a better overall, easier way to find their content. And then if you are looking for strategies, right? If you want to talk through things, look through some of the past winners, kind of brainstorm ideas, feel free to reach out to myself, our customer success team. We're happy to kind of hop on calls and strategize with you, and kind of, encourage you, right? Help you kind of provide some inspiration, and allow you to kind of create this interface that's kind of fun to do, I think, in a lot of ways. So thank you for everyone who attended this year. Thank you again to our panelists. And congratulations again to our winners and our honorable mentions. It takes some work, right, to create these things, to think about them strategically, and then implement them. So yeah, hats off to you all for putting in the work, because it does make a big difference in the long run. So thank you all again. We're looking forward to next year's submissions. If you didn't win this year, I encourage you to resubmit next year, because again, we had a lot of different designs, a lot of creativity behind these things, and we'll have another collection of winners next year. So there's always another chance coming up. Awesome. Thank you all.